Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tim, and I've been friends with Paul since high school. Actually, though, I met Paul for the first time. We were teammates on our 4th grade CYO basketball team. And I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, and the answer is yes, Paul was absolutely terrible at basketball. Sandy still is. Before I start talking about Paul, about how awesome all of us were in high school, I want to recognize Staci's parents, Bob and Susan, and Paul's mom, Anne Marie, for a beautiful wedding and a wonderful night that I'm sure won't end until early tomorrow morning. And of course, I'd also like to mention how beautiful Staci looks tonight and how wonderful all of her bridesmaids look.
Yay!
As for the groomsmen, I'd like to thank you guys for looking like you do, because standing next to you guys tonight has made me look so much better. So thank you. It really is a great honor for me to serve as Paul's best man tonight, as Paul's always been there for me, and I'd like to think that I was there for Paul while he got kicked out of everywhere we went. High school soccer games, Applebee's restaurants, bars in Morristown, high school basketball games, bars during his bachelor party, or pretty much anywhere else we went together. Truthfully, though, I'm grateful that I can be here today for him and to be able to share this special day with both Paul and Staci. Anyone who has hung out with Paul, me, or anyone else from FGK in high school knows that we love to tell stories about our high school and college years hanging out in Hillsborough. And I'm sure you're all sick of hearing all these stories we tell every time we're together, but I really don't care because we tell them anyways. Being the best man, I feel like I should tell stories about Paul and me and how many awesome times we had growing up. But I also feel like I'm speaking on behalf of all the guys here that grew up together and hung out every day for the past 15 years. There really was never a dull moment, and there was always some sort of trouble to get into and then sneak our way out of it. I'd like to think it was just a coincidence that everywhere we went, we found some sort of trouble, but it seems like the common denominator was usually us. There were a few instances at high school boys' soccer games, like when the referees had to stop the game to tell us in the crowd to stop yelling body bag comments, or at another game, there was a small fight that we just happened to be involved in with some of the other fans of the other team. After these events, we began to hear the phrase, "Here comes trouble," from some of the parents of our team's players, and that kind of stuck for a while, and for good reason, I guess. Whether we were drinking Poland Spring bottles filled with warm liquor that we borrowed from our parents' liquor cabinets, sneaking 30 packs of Miller High Life into our parents' basements, trying not to get caught while stealing dozens of street signs throughout Somerset County, or learning how to drive stick on Paul's Jeep before any of us had our license, we always did everything together, and throughout it all, we always had each other's backs. No matter what we were doing, legal or not, I always knew that Paul, Mark, Blake, Steve, Phil, Ty, and everyone else you saw up here today with Paul always had my back and I always had theirs. We all stuck together and always looked out for each other, and that is why I love Paul and all these guys that are here today. I remember the first time we all came back to Hillsborough during freshman year of college for Thanksgiving break. We all met up at Mark's house and everyone had made some new friends, had some great times at college. But once we all got back together, it was like we hadn't missed a beat. We all still talked the same, acted the same, made the same jokes, and it was like no time had passed. That's the difference between our group of friends from high school and all the other people I have become friends with in my life. No matter how long it's been since we last saw each other. Once there are two or more of us together, we fall right back in line and are back to being our usual smart-ass selves. I never had any brothers to hang out with or share stories with or do any other brother stuff with. Instead, I had something even better. Paul and my other best friends that I can call my brothers and can always count on for anything. There's also one other person who I wanted to mention tonight, and that is Paul's father, Ralph. Ralph loved events like today with all the great music, great food, great drinks, and of course the great jokes being cracked on each other. And I know he would have been so proud and very happy to know that Paul was marrying such a wonderful and caring woman in Staci. I can still remember, it was one of the first times I had met Ralph. It was freshman year of high school, and like I would almost every day after school, I rode my bike over to Paul's, and we would hang out and try not to create too much trouble before Ralph and Anne-Marie got home from work. So this one night, they had me over for dinner, and it was the first time I'd eaten over the croissant in his house. Anne-Marie was making some delicious Italian food, as per tradition, and I was pumped that his family had invited me over to eat. So we all sit down at the table for this great meal Anne-Marie just made after working all day, and I proceeded to spill an entire 2-liter bottle of soda over everything. I emptied the bottle dry. It went everywhere, the floor, the napkins, it was everywhere. I was pretty embarrassed, to say the least, and I remember looking up at Ralph, and at this point everyone was running for towels, telling me it's okay, no big deal. And Ralph, with a smile, just sat there in silence with this look of this is the schmuck Paul chose to be friends with and is going to be hanging around my house all the time. Finally, after some of these stories, I'm sure a lot of people here are wondering just what does Staci see in Paul? Well, I've known Paul for a long time now, and to be fair, I'm not really that sure either. Paul, you're a lucky guy to have married Staci. She's smart, funny, good-looking, fun to be around, and best of all, her family are Giants fans. She deserves a great husband, so thank God you popped the question before she was able to keep looking for one. Truthfully, though, Paul and Staci are really perfect for each other, and I can see how happy each of them are when they talk about each other and when they're with each other. They both love traveling, going to the beach, going to concerts and sporting events, eating well, partying, drinking, and posting hundreds of Instagram pictures on all of our Facebook accounts. So you can see how much fun they're having while we're all trying to enjoy our boring lives. Considering that Paul was at the beach every free moment we had since I've known him makes this marriage even more perfect because Paul found someone with multiple beach houses that he can go to whenever he wants. And if there was any lingering doubt of whether these two were perfect for each other or not, I knew that this was true love when I went to their apartment for the first time and saw that Staci had let Paul have some of her closet space in the bedrooms. I feel proud and honored that Paul asked me to be his best man and for the chance to be able to stand up here and celebrate Paul and Staci on their wedding night. I'm not surprised Paul is the first of our group of friends to get married because he was the first to do everything. Get his license, get a car, go away to college, get a job, and move away. I'll always look up to Paul because he knows what he wants and he gets it done. And he knew he found the girl of his dreams in Staci, and he got it. At this time, I'd ask that everyone please raise their glasses and join me in a toast to Paul and Staci Acquisano. To a long, loving, and happy marriage. Congratulations.
Everyone, grab by her.